Welcome to Talks with Dr. Gupta and friends. China is making one of the largest economic bets in modern history. It believes it can export its way out of deep domestic economic trouble by doubling down on its role as the world's dominant manufacturing power. At home, the Chinese economy is under severe strain. A multi-year property crisis has devastated household wealth and local government finances. Consumers have stopped spending, even in busy cities. Deflation has set in, with prices, wages, and profits all falling together. The GDP deflator has been negative for 10 consecutive quarters, worse than during the Asian financial crisis. Yet outwardly, China projects extraordinary confidence. The core strategy: external strength versus internal weakness. These two realities are not contradictory. They are deliberately linked. China is using its external economic strength, exports, as a lifeline to compensate for domestic weakness. Beijing's leadership believes its state-led, long-term planning model gives it a decisive advantage over Western democracies, which they see as constrained by elections, political fragmentation, and short-term thinking. From this perspective, 5-year plans are not rigid. They are strategic assets. Trade imbalances are not failures. They are proof of competitiveness. Dependence by other countries is not accidental. It is leverage. The scale of China's export power. China has built what its own advisors call an economic fortress. Key facts: China now produces over a quarter of all global manufactured goods. Its trade surplus is approaching 1 trillion. Export volumes have surged more than 40% since 2020. This dominance is not spread evenly. It is concentrated in critical industries: batteries, electronics, industrial components, rare earth refining, active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs. These are inputs modern economies cannot function without. The zero-sum reality: China's official ambition is to raise its share of global manufacturing from roughly 30% to 40%. That additional 10% must come from somewhere. This makes the strategy inherently zero-sum. Europe loses industrial capacity. Emerging markets lose development pathways. Political backlash becomes inevitable. As Chinese exports flood global markets, foreign industries are undercut, not just by scale, but by currency dynamics, as domestic deflation weakens the renminbi and makes Chinese goods even cheaper in real terms. Supply chain choke points: the hidden weapon. The most important element of China's strategy is the creation of supply chain choke points. The logic is simple: reduce China's dependence on the world, increase the world's dependence on China. By dominating key processing stages, especially in rare earths, batteries, and pharmaceuticals, China gains structural leverage, even over countries that are trying to de-risk or decouple. This is not traditional trade power. It is systemic power. Why the West is alarmed, and China is not. Western leaders and institutions warn that China's strategy is destabilizing. Trade imbalances are growing. Industrial jobs are being hollowed out. Political tolerance is running out. European leaders now openly describe the situation as unbearable, but Beijing sees the same data and draws the opposite conclusion. To Chinese policymakers, persistent surpluses mean the model works. Foreign complaints are signs of weakness. Dependence equals strategic success. This fundamental difference in interpretation is the heart of today's tension. The ultimate bet. China is wagering that global dependence on its factories will outweigh its own domestic economic fragility. If this bet succeeds, China locks in long-term geopolitical leverage. Global supply chains become structurally asymmetric. The world adapts to Chinese economic gravity. If it fails, domestic stagnation intensifies. Trade retaliation accelerates. The global economy fractures. Either way, this strategy will define global economics and geopolitics for decades. This is not just a trade story. It is a contest over how the world economy is organized and who ultimately controls its choke points. Happy new thinking!